Hey guys, Shutter here. Now, in this video, I'm actually going to be doing something. I'm pretty sure I might have done this before, but it's more or less looking at the campaigns, right? Looking at the 5 campaigns and saying which one is, the best, which one is the worst to start with. Now, for a start, let's go with one thing. Now, I'm going to actually go. This will either be the best or the worst, but it's Stalingrad. Now, the reason I say it's either going to be the best or the worst is because it really depends on which version of Stalingrad you use it. Now, if you don't know, for the people who actually don't know about this campaign has something unique, which is the paid option. Now, you can see here, trial version. I haven't got the paid option. Now, the paid option is about 30 quid. But, what does the paid option do? Well, if we go into the campaign here, you can see here the Luftwaffe Adrenaline only with full access, Panzer III-N only with full access, the Stuka only with full access, ZH-29 only with full access, this Romanian, is it Romanian? Yeah, Romanian fighter only with full access. It went straight back to the beginning. I fucking hate that. MG42, the new Hungarian SMG. This French fighter, I think this might be the French, it could be Romanian again, it looks French. Panzer IV-G, NKB, and in the Soviets it's near enough the same thing. TOS-B, T-34, mortars, SVT, DT-29, Thompson, and the AVT. Now, if you don't buy into the campaign, you won't have full access. You won't have access to those weapons. You also won't be able to max out your soldiers, I believe. You can only get them to rank 5. I believe, not rank 5, you can only get them to, can you even promote them? You can promote them, yeah, but, you can only get them to a maximum of rank 4, which means you can't get some of the perks. And some of the best perks. You can't upgrade your weapons to rank 5. You miss out on a few weapons. And there's a few other stuff that premium, that buying for Stalingrad gives. So, if you haven't bought Stalingrad, it's going to be the worst campaign for you, in my opinion, to start with. But if you have bought it, it's actually the best. Now, the reason it's the best is, not only do you have access to the full campaign, but you also get a ×4 bonus. Now, I can generally say that any half-wit who gets Stalingrad, right? Like, this is just with starting bolt actions. In one match, I was able to nearly get to level 3. Right? If I had the booster, I reckon on that starting match, I would have been level 8. Or level 9. Like, and now, I know that's a good player, but I'm a good player. But, if it was a starting player, I reckon they would get to level 4, level 5, on their first match in one campaign. And just speed level up. Like, I know people who got, I think it's they got to, both sides maxed on day 1. Or something like that. Like, obviously these were great players. This was people like Joey and Valiant and stuff like that. But I reckon if you have bought Stalingrad, this is probably the best campaign for you because you get a lot of stuff. You get stuff like the MP3 717 and it's quite quick to level up. But if you haven't, this is number 5. The next one, which is guaranteed the worst, so other than Stalingrad, the worst one is Berlin. Now, the reason I say Berlin is the worst, is joint worst, is reaction times. It's really a reaction-focused campaign, and it's more of an advanced campaign. It kind of takes the stuff which, you get, the stuff that made Normandy and Moscow great, and basically amplifies that. Now, the reason I would say this is the worst one is because, the skill, especially for the Axis. The Axis have arguably one of the hardest early levels. I mean, you get the MP308 and the MP40, and then later MP35. I mean, yeah, you get some great late game weapons, but your early game weapons are, are going to be up against the meat grinder, that's the PPSH, the PPDs, the PPSs, and stuff like that, which shred through which will defeat anything that you've got. You do get great weapons early on, don't get me wrong, you get the MG34, which is a fantastic weapon, but you also get, it doesn't get, it takes a while to get to there, basically, and it takes a few games to get there. And you're going to be mostly, using, Gavir 43s until you get the FGs, and then you can shit out FGs, yada, yada, yada. For the Allies, of course, it's a little bit easier, but because you get the PPS, you get the, you get the PPS 42, PPS H41, PPD, FA, PPS, the drum, and then you get stuff like the, oh, wrong fact, I'm an idiot. Then you get stuff like the AVT and the AVS. But, even in the early game, you get some pretty good weapons really early on. You get the SVT's pretty decent and stuff like that. You also get the DPM and the DP27, which are pretty good. You get the DT29, which is really good, and stuff like that. But the problem is, the game is very, the campaign is very Call of Duty-esque, and it shows, really. But the main thing you need to know is that, it's very close quarters, and, of course, Enlisted is a lot different to Call of Duty, so, yeah. The, obviously, Berlin, I'd say, is the worst campaign, other than Stalingrad, to get into. Troll version of Stalingrad, then Berlin. Then I'd say it's Tunisia. Now, the problem with Tunisia is that Tunisia gets a whole bunch of just... I don't even... the problem with Tunisia is it's kind of like a midding campaign. And everything you get in Tunisia, you basically get in another campaign. You get in Normandy. But the problem with Tunisia is that it doesn't really matter. It's a cool campaign, don't get me wrong. I like Tunisia, it's a cool campaign. But there's a problem with Tunisia, which is that really it's very dead. So if you come up against, so this is a kind of a double edge. So if you come up against, say you're playing as the Allies, you have this loadout, maybe not the Charlton rifle, but the Squad. But if you have these, just the basic starting squads, you will get, basically, and you're up against a bot team, and you have a couple players on your team, then it's good. That's pretty good. And you'll have a fun time. But if it's vice versa, and say you're the Axis, you've got this loadout, and you run up against max level allies, you're fucked, basically. So that's what I mean by it. It's kind of like a double-edged sword. You can run into bot teams, you can run into other teams. Now, when it comes to the other two campaigns, Normandy and Moscow, honestly, there isn't much difference between the two. And the problem is that Normandy is just... Normandy, it really depends, what kind of playstyle you prefer. If you like more faster-paced action, but with some long-range combat, Normandy's perfect. But if you like long-range combat, slower-paced, then I would say Moscow. Honestly, Moscow is a pretty good... they're balanced in a way. They're both balanced in a way, and they're both solid campaigns, so you can't really hate them. Anyways, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave your thoughts in the comments about what you guys think are the best campaigns to, Obviously, of course, I said Stalingrad would be the best if you paid, but if you haven't, it's the worst. Then Berlin, then Tunisia, and then even Normandy or Moscow. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.